high school season came by, and we were wrecking teams here and there, left, right, and center. We were pretty good. We were demolishing everyone. We ended up going to the state finals in April. And the day before state finals, my dad receives a call from one of his friends from work.
Hello, and welcome to the Kick It with Katie podcast. I am your host, Katie Colliker, and welcome to episode 6. Today's episode is going to feature my interview with JC Sanchez. JC was born in Texas, raised in Utah, and is currently living in Mexico as he reaches for his dreams of playing professionally. And he recently signed a contract in Mexico, and I will let you guys listen to his story about how he got there. But I'm excited for you to hear his story. I will let you know as the listener if the audio sounds a little off or skips or anything like that. That is what happened in the recording. I wanted to be able to share his story, but we had some technical difficulties with part of the recording, and so there is some audio that might not sound amazing, and I do apologize for that, but I wanted to share his story and get our interview in. And because of where I was and where he was when the recording took place, I think there were just some connection issues. Possibly we did get disconnected at one point, and there is a section towards the end where the story might repeat itself a little bit, but that is just because we had to pick up near where he got cut off. And so that's kind of my preface to the interview that I will be sharing with you shortly. But I want to remind you as a listener to please go to Apple or Spotify or wherever you're listening, and please make sure you subscribe, you rate the show, and share it. I would really love for these stories to get shared for these players and their experiences, and you guys rating, subscribing, and sharing does a whole lot to make this show more visible to people who are looking for content like yours. I joined a soccer parent Facebook group, and I've been interacting on there, and I've been able to see that there are people that are looking for podcasts just like this. And so if you guys would be able to share it with people, then they'll know that this kind of content is out there and they'll be able to find it. So if you would do that for me, that would be awesome. I've got some interviews lined up for the next couple weeks, and I'm really excited about those as well. So I'm going to be interviewing Zach Farnsworth from Real Salt Lake. I'm also going to be interviewing Trenton Atkin, who is currently an assistant coach at Salt Lake Community College, who played in Utah growing up. But I'm just really excited about some of the interviews that I've got coming up, so please stay tuned for those future interviews as well. So if you subscribe, then you'll get notified when those new episodes drop as well. Also, go over to my Instagram page, Kick It with Katie podcast, and there's underscore between all the words, and I also link it in the show notes. And if you're listening from my Buzzsprout page, there should be a link to my Instagram page on the Buzzsprout page. I believe it's at the top. If you go and follow me there, you'll also get notified of the drawing that I'm going to be doing and how you can enter the drawing for that giveaway, which I'm going to be excited about. I'm going to be doing that later this week. So it's going to run for about a week. And hopefully, if you're interested in free stuff, then go over to my Instagram page and follow me so you can get notified when that happens. But enough of the chit chat. Here is my interview with JC Sanchez. So basically, what I want you to do is just introduce yourself, where you're from, what clubs you played for, just your experience, anything that stands out to you, memorable moments, hard moments, what position you played, where you are now, how you got there, things like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Well, my name is JC Sanchez, and I was born in I was raised in Utah. Well, I started playing soccer when I was like 11 years old. But I wasn't even playing. I was just a dancer. I was just a dancer. Would sometimes dance ballet, tap, whatever, you like kids would dance, but I would take it seriously. So I lived in Mexico for 8 years, 4 years. I would take it seriously how I take soccer now. My mom, back then, she was divorced and she got remarried. And that's when I moved to Utah. When I moved to Utah, I didn't find any like dance clubs. Like I still wanted to dance and stuff, but that's when I picked up soccer. When I picked up soccer, the reason I did it was because my dad and my brothers played it, and I mean I really wanted to get like involved with them. I wanted to like fit in the family, and so I started like asking my brothers, "Hey, what do you play?" And they're like, "No, I play forward. I play defender." And then I asked my dad, "Did you used to play?" And he's like, "Yeah, I used to be a goalkeeper." And he said, how he would dive, or he would like, a bunch of goalkeeper stories. And then he would tell me about my uncle from my side. He would tell me that he used to play with RSL. He used to play with them back when it was starting to become MLS. And that got me even more motivated to become a goalkeeper. And so I told my dad, I want to play soccer. And he's like, all right, let me see how you kick a ball. I kicked the ball, and he's like, yeah, kid, you should stick with dance. and I was like, no, but I really wanna play soccer. Come on, teach me. And he's like, okay, I'll teach you my ways. But while I'm training you, I'm not your dad. I'm your coach. He would coach me. You know how coaches are. They're strict. They're with their kids and everything, and that's how he was. And I really liked that because he would like push me. He would really motivate me. Yeah, it's really memorable. And then I started playing rec soccer back in early 2014. I was playing rec soccer, but I didn't play goalkeeper. I was playing, forward. I didn't really know the rules. I didn't know what an offside was. I didn't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started picking up goalkeeping at rec soccer. And I was like, you know what? I like it. I like it even more. And with my dad coaching me, I got even more inspired to play goalkeeper. I ended up playing club soccer with Blue Knights. And as I was playing with them, I was the only keeper there. And at my age, oh my gosh, you're so cool. You're pretty good. You're amazing. What the heck? We've never seen a keep like this. And I was like, I was like, all right, yeah, that's cool. That's all right. And my parents would tell me, hey, you gotta, if you want to get pro, right? And I would tell them, yes, I want to go pro. I want to watch. And that was at the time of the World Cup, the 2014 World Cup. And that's what inspired me even more. Seeing all the goalkeepers there, I'm like, one day I'm gonna be there. I heard about the RSL Academy back then, and I was like, when I'm 17, when I'm 16, I'm gonna be there. Well, throughout the years, I played with Sparta. After Blue Knights, I played with Sparta. I played with Justice for one season. After that, there was the split of the eight, and I played with the O3 Spartas for 2 years. And I played half a season with 7 Elite. That's when I got called up to the academy, to the RSL Academy. This was in 2018. It was the way I got invited to the academy. There were some tryouts with Victor's Tires, and there were it was like in the indoor futsal fields.
Mm-hmm.
There were roughly around 300 to 400 kids in those tryouts because the Monarchs coach, they were there scouting kids. They were trying to make a team to play against the academy. Every day they would have they would cut people. The one day there would be 300, the next day would cut people, and there would be 200, and so on, until they got down to 40, and then they cut it down to 20. And I was still in that group, and I was like, "Let's go!" That motivated me. I was like, "Let's go!" We played against the academy, and we ended up winning 2-1. We ended up winning 2-1, and throughout the entire time, I noticed that the academy coach was standing behind me the entire time. And after the game ended, he came up to me and he's like, "Hey, we saw you and we want to invite you to practice this January." The trials were in December of 2017, and he told me to train with them in 2018, January 2018. And I was very excited. I was very blessed with the opportunity. I trained with the academy for a month. And in February, they invited me to go to a tournament with the U15 RSL Academy. We went to LA and we played LA Galaxy Cup. We played against other academies and other teams. We never trained. We didn't even know each other until we saw each other in the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up we went undefeated in that tournament and we won. After that, summer of 2018 came by, and I was waiting for a call or anything, and they said, "Yeah, we'll just email you." Summer 2018, I got a email saying I was accepted for the academy.
Awesome.
And that I was gonna sign some papers, how things are with academy stuff, and I was like, great. And as I was there, August of 2018, preseason started. I went to the academy. I stayed in the dorms, and I was treated like a player, or like an academy player, and everything. That season, I did not get signed with the RSL Academy, but I was treated as a player. I didn't get to play a game, an official game. I was just there as a reserve player.
Mm-hmm.
There were in total 5 keepers, and I was the 5th because I was one of the young kids, and I didn't really have much experience in the academy. So they wanted to keep me and see how I was going to develop in the program. So I stayed there for the entire remaining of the season. By the end of the 2018-2019 season, I got injured, and they told me, "You know what? Maybe it's time for you to find another team. We recommend you this team and this team and this team." And they cut me. After that, I joined a team in Utah that is called Cholos Utah. Their program was similar to ourselves, like they have academy and everything, but they are affiliated with a team in Tijuana. And they have their academy there, Cholos Tijuana, everything, stadium, everything. I was there for a month with the academy in Tijuana, just training in 2019. I went back to Utah, and I was the same thing, just training by myself with some friends. It was just the training, and then they called me back again for December in 2019, and I went back because in December, that's when supposedly the transfer window opens.
Mm-hmm.
And they told me, "Listen, we want you, but there's kind of a problem. Since I'm not back then, I was not a I didn't have a Mexican passport. I wasn't a Mexican resident or nothing. They couldn't sign me like that. And I was underage. I was 16. They told me that my parents would have to move to Chula Vista or San Diego, somewhere close. Because if I would get injured, my parents have to be there, provide for me and everything since I was underage. Or I would have to wait until I was 18 years old so they can sign me as an adult. And it was a really tough decision. So they told us it's better for us to wait because it would be it would be like not a waste of money, but we didn't have the money then.
Right.
To buy a new house or buy an apartment, anything like that, especially in California, it was very expensive. So we ended up waiting. We chose the option of to wait. And then COVID came. Everything stopped. I wasn't training as much. I was still with the Cholos Utah team, but like any other team, they were keeping everyone away, staying at home, So nothing really happened that year. Nobody was training at that time. I was training by myself. We didn't really have group trainings or anything until late 2020. Around November, we started getting back into it. And then in December, my coach tells me on a Friday, he tells me, hey, on Monday, there's going to be tryouts for America, for their academy. There's going to be goalkeeper tryouts. And do you want to go? If you want to go, we have to leave now. We have to leave tomorrow to Mexico City.
Wow.
And I talked to my parents, and they said, yes, let's go. Let's go. He told me that on a Friday, and on Saturday, we bought a flight, and we flew to Mexico City. As I flew to Mexico City, I was thinking, no, there's no way. I was going with another goalkeeper. His name is Gio. He is a year younger than me. He's in 04 and I'm in 03. And he was also trying out. We got to Mexico City and we went to the tryouts. They saw us. They liked us. They saw our abilities, our diving, everything. They saw in us. They liked us. Gio, they told him since his age group was not in the academy at the time, they were having vacations, that they were going to call him later. And he was able to go back to Utah. In my case, they told me that they liked me and they want to see me train with the academy. And I got called up to go to the academy. I was there a month. Christmas comes by and I was training with the academy. And they tell me, listen, we want you here. You're going to have to miss Christmas. You're going to have to, it's part of the job. It comes with the job. Mm-hmm. And that was the first time I missed, I was away from family. And I stayed by myself and my coach. Christmas, we stayed in Mexico. After Christmas, they told me, hey, come back to training and we'll see what happens. And so I was training. I was able to see the first team play. I saw Choa. I saw a lot of amazing players. And then decision time came, and they said, "Yeah, we want you in." They were about to sign me, but I did not have my Mexican passport. At the time, I didn't have my Mexican passport, and they said it was really tough for me to get signed because if I had the Mexican passport, it would have been easier. Mm-hmm. They could have signed me as like if I was from Mexico and everything. Academies over here, I'm not too sure about U.S. academies, but over here in Mexico, they have a system where they can sign 2 players that are international. Mm-hmm. And they did not want to take the risk of me. Like, if I had the opportunity, like the chance to get my passport done, get my Mexican passport done and everything, they could have signed me as a Mexican, like a Mexican citizen. Mm-hmm. But that, it's going to be really tough. We'll call you again in May when registration opens. So I went back to Utah in January. I went back to Utah. I was training, and that's when I picked up with high school, college. I was just there training with the high school team, playing, and here and there. High school season came by in 2021. High school season came by, and we were wrecking teams here and there, left, right, and center. We were pretty good. We were demolishing everyone. We ended up going to the state finals in April. And the day before state finals, my dad receives a call from one of his friends from work. He called my dad a day before state finals, and he told my dad, "Hey, there's a man trying to look. He's looking for a goalkeeper in Mexico." And we got in contact with that man, and his name is Rafael. I don't remember his last name, but his first name is Rafa. We call him Rafa. But he was the CEO of the Liga Balompié, which is it's like saying he was a CEO of USL Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And we got into contact with him, and he's like, "Yeah, there's going to be a tournament in Guadalajara. And I want to see you there. I want to see how you perform. There's going to be teams from the West region. We want to see you there." And we're like, you know what? Let's go. The state comes. We won state. And after state happened, after the game ended, I went straight to the airport and I got a flight with my parents and we flew to Guadalajara. As I get to Guadalajara, I go to the fields. Rafa sees me and he's like, "Oh, JC, nice meeting you and everything." Well, he was telling me everything about the tournament, how it was going to go down. I've guest played with two teams. I don't remember their name, but I guest played with the second team. We won the tournament. We won the tournament. After the tournament ends, my dad gets a call from the same coworker saying, "Oh, hey, there's a guy in Mexico City. He's an agent. He wants to know JC and bring him down to Mexico City because Puma's Academy needs a goalkeeper."
Oh, wow.
And we're like, "Oh, that's awesome. Well, I mean, we're already in Mexico. Let's just go to Mexico City." Mm-hmm. We buy a flight and we go to Mexico City. We get there. We get an Uber and we go to the apartment. As we go to the apartment, we thought it was just the agent's apartment, but it was an apartment for players only.
Oh.
I get there and there was a player from LA. His name is Jordan. He was telling my parents how this works. His name's Osvaldo. Yeah, he was telling us, "Well, yeah, we have to pay rent here. We pay rent and that's it. I mean, we cook for ourselves." This is what Jordan was telling us. As Jordan was talking to my parents, Osvaldo walks in the room. He sees me and he's like, "Oh, nice meeting you, JC." And he talks to my parents. "Nice meeting you, everyone." And then he tells me tomorrow I'm going to come pick you up to take you to Puma's Academy and you'll train with them. And they need a keeper. They want to see you and everything. And I was like, "Let's go. That's awesome." Mm-hmm. The next day comes and he picks us up at 7 a.m. and takes us to the fields. Fields were not in the academy, but they were rented by the academy. The team that I was training were the reserves of the academy. So if they needed a forward, pick a forward, they would take him to the academy. If they needed a goalkeeper, they would go there, pick a goalkeeper, and take him to the academy, and so on. I was training with that Pumas team for a month. We were able to go to San Luis. We played against their academy. I believe we tied 1-1. And not much came of it. Some players stayed, but I went back to Mexico City. As I go back to Mexico City, after that game, the team kind of dissolved. There were some problems, some political problems. and I was left with no team. So I was like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to the agent. I talked to Osvaldo, and I was telling him, hey, the team collapsed. I mean, where do I go? And he's like, just give me a week and I'll find some teams. During that week, my parents, they talked to me and they're like, we can't stay here no more. We're gonna have to go back to Utah, and you're gonna have to stay here. And I was like, yeah, Mom, it's fine. It's okay. And I kind of got a little bit of experience because I already stayed at the academy. I was already away from Mom.
Mm-hmm.
I already spent a Christmas by myself, so I already I was mentally prepared
Mm-hmm.
to stay alone. My parents leave, and I was there with my roommates. They were a roommate from one from LA, one from Torreon, and one from Michoacan. So it was just four of us. During that week, after the week passed, Osvaldo contacts me and he tells me there's a team in Sinaloa called Dorados, and they're a very, very well known team in Mexico and in U.S. And I was like, that's awesome. And he's like, there's going to be tryouts, and they want to see you there. They want to see you. I know the head coach and everything. I'm just waiting for the dates, and as soon as they give me the dates, we're flying out there. And we're like, perfect. A few weeks go by. I was just training with my agent. He has his own team, so I was there training, and then he gets a call. My agent gets a call from his coworker, and he tells him, "Hey, we already got the dates. The dates are August 20, I think. No, August 15 to August 17. We got the dates, and as soon as we got the dates, we booked a flight and we flew to Sinaloa. So we get to Sinaloa, and I get there, and there were tryouts. So there were a bunch of kids doing tryouts with the team. As I get there, I see that coaches are looking at us, revising us, writing on their planners, notebooks, everything. And I kind of got a little bit intimidated because I was like, it's my first tryout in Mexico, in a pro team. I got to do good. Thankfully, thank God, I played amazing. I played good. In the coach's eyes, they told me, "Oh, we really like you." They talked to my agent, and they said they really wanted me. They told me, "Okay, get your papers ready, get your birth certificate, everything we need to sign you." And as soon as I get that, I'm just waiting in the hotel. I waited for 2 more days after the tryouts happened. After those 2 days, we get a call from the coach of that team of Dorados, and he tells us, "Listen, guys, there's been a problem with the organization. There's been a problem. Well, the deal is that we don't want players from outside from Sinaloa, outside of the state. We only want players from inside of the state because we don't have that much money to help to support you, the outsiders and everything."
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, dang, another miss. So we're like, dang, what are we gonna do? And as soon as I go back to Mexico City, I fly back to Mexico City, and my coach is like, you know what? Just wait, keep training with me, and I'll find another team. And I was just there training for a week or so. Yeah, I was training there for a week, and my agent calls me and he tells me, listen, there's a third division team here in Mexico City. I can put you in contact with, but it's not going to be all up to you. You're going to have to stand out. You're going to have to, do really good in the tryout that you're going to have.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to stand out. You're going to have to do really good. And I go there. The players, there are a lot of players that are used to be in academies. They used to be in this academy, Pumas, America, Tigres, a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just there, and I was like, I don't get intimidated. I go there, my first training, and the coach liked me. He liked me, and the team is called Club Union. That was the first team I signed with.
Mm-hmm.
I go there, and thankfully, everything went fine. After 4-5 months of pure training, of teams like canceling and everything, I was able to sign my first pro contract with Club Union in Mexico City. So I was thankful of that. Well, the season went by. We ended the first half of the season. We ended up doing pretty good. We ended up in second place in our table. By the second half of the season, in January through April, we were doing pretty rough because some players went to other teams, and some teams, they were taking players and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of lost like some players. So we were doing kind of rough, but we ended up going to playoffs at the end. We go to playoffs. The other keeper, he got injured. He dislocated his thumb, and I was the only keeper available. So that was like kind of like my opportunity to shine in playoffs. So I took it, and I did really good. I did pretty good. The other team, we sadly lost in the first game, so we got eliminated. But the other team, they came up to me. They're like, you're really good and everything. Hope everything goes well. My coaches too, they came up to me. You're really good. They told me, we want to get in touch with your parents because we want to do a project with you. My team tells that to my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, of course. So I tell my parents that my coach wants to get in touch with them, and they want to do a project with them. They got in touch, but the project was never executed, so it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
After season ended, I go back to Utah for a month or so, and I was there in Utah this last year, 2022. I was there through June, the whole month of June. I was just there taking my vacation. I fly back to Mexico City in July. My agent, I asked, hey, I don't want to, not have a team. I want to find another team. I want to, keep looking for another team. I want to go up higher. I don't want to stay in third division. I want to go up to a second division. And he's like, okay, let me just get my contacts. Give me a few weeks. He finds a team, a second division in Cuernavaca. I go to Cuernavaca. I try out for a whole week. But since I was too young, I was in the tryout. And they said, listen, kid, you're too young. You're good, but we want to send you to the third division. But I talked to my agent. He's like, their third division is not that good. I recommend you come back with me to Mexico City, and we'll find another team. I go back to Mexico City. Not even 2 weeks go by, and he receives a call from a team called Correcaminos, which is where I am right now. My agent receives a call from their second division, their head coach, and he's like, hey, I need a goalkeeper. Do you have any? And as soon as he gets that call, we were in the middle of training. He pulls me away from training, and he tells me, hey, I just got this call. You need to get a flight to Monterrey, and then from Monterrey to Ciudad Victoria. Victoria City, it's what it's called, translated. And I was like, perfect. I get the flight. I fly out to Monterrey, and I come to Ciudad Victoria, Victoria City. I get here, and they tell me, okay, you're going to be in trial for a weekend, and if you do good, you stay. And obviously, if you don't good, then you go back. And I did great. I did good. And the coach comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey, you're doing really good, but there's gonna be there's a problem because there's a registration is already full. Like our team is already full, but we want. So when the transfer window opens in December, we can sign you up." Like, yeah, it's perfect. I mean, it's good because and although I wasn't signed, I did not want to go back to Mexico City and just already look for a team, look
Mm-hmm.
for another team because it was already late in the season. Registration was already closed. So I said, you know what? I'll just stay here, keep training for this season, and I'll come back for next season. And in seasons for second division, they don't last a full year. They only last 3 months. So it started in September and it started in September, October, and November, and that's it. So I stayed in the team. I was treated as a player, but I didn't get to play. I was in the same situation that I was back in the academy, where I didn't play no official match. I didn't play no official match, but I did get treated as a player. A
Mm-hmm.
few weeks go, the season goes by. We didn't make playoffs. We get in our break, and as I get in my break, they call me and they tell me, "Hey JC, we need this paperwork. We need this paperwork. We need this, and this because you're gonna be getting signed." And I was like, "Oh, great!" I get all the paperwork. I come back to Mexico. I get here, and as I'm getting here, I'm getting news that the people from up top, the owner and all this, are changing. People are leaving from the office. New people are coming in. Kind of like what happened with not Deloy Hansen. Not that type of situation, but like he left the team, and other
Mm-hmm.
people came and bought the team. Kind of that situation. And with those changes, new
Mm-hmm.
coaches came, new players came, and plans changed. They told me, "Hey, as of right now, with these new coaches, these new people, plans are changing, and they're not considering you for second division." So I got started getting a little bit worried. So I was like, "What's going on?" Like, I started getting in touch with my manager, and he's like, let me get in touch with some people. Let me see what's going on and everything." A few weeks go by, and thankfully, I get signed with the third division, not the second, but I get signed with the third division. But they told me if you're doing good in third division, they can move you up to second division. And if you're doing even good in second division, they can move you up to their first division. So as of right now, I'm signed up with the
Mm-hmm.
third division, and season hasn't started yet. It'll start late January. But if everything goes well, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I can move up to second division, and from second division, I can move up to first division. And yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yeah. So throughout all of this, with all of the questionables, the variables with the teams maybe wanting you, not wanting you, going to sign you, not signing you, what did you do mentally? Like, how were you mentally feeling about all of this because it was so up in the air so many times? How were you mentally, and what did you do personally to keep yourself grounded and to continue to persevere towards your goal? Like, what made you not want to quit, basically? Like, you kept trying and you kept trying, and was there anything specific that you did or anyone that helped you along the way with that to make sure that you stayed focused?
Yeah. Well, what I did is that I didn't give up. I kept keeping that idea in my mind. I'm already here. I've already been with these teams. These teams want me, but it's not because of my performance that I didn't get signed. It's because of something political or something that wasn't in my control that I didn't get signed. So I
Mm-hmm.
I got in my head, and I told myself it wasn't my fault that I didn't get signed. So I gotta keep trying. I gotta keep finding teams. They're not the only teams in the world. It's not the only country in the world. I can go to somewhere else. I can go here. I can go there. You know. So I kept trying. I kept trying, and my parents also
Mm-hmm.
told me, you're already there. You already got a little taste of that professional life with Club Union, and you're already here with Correcaminos. And now that when they told me that I wasn't being when plans changed and everything, I got stressed. I got so stressed. I was like, not again, not again. This is happening again. My mom told me. She told me, you set your goal to be a professional by this age, by the age of 18, and you already did it. Now you're setting your goal to be a professional 20, and you're doing it. You're moving step by step. And I thought of that, and like, holy crap, she's right. I did do that. Back when I heard about the academy in 2014, I did tell myself, oh, as soon as I hear the academy, as soon as I get the age, I'm gonna be there, and I was there. And then after the academy, I told myself when I turn 17, I'm gonna be a pro, and that's when I signed with Club Union, and I did that. And when I finished with Club Union, I told myself I'm gonna go up to second division. I got a taste of it by trying out and being here with Correcaminos and moving me up to second division. Not signing, but I'm training with them and being with them with the team. And so I told my so I saw that and I was like, holy crap, she's right. I just gotta keep going. I cannot stop. I cannot give up. I cannot give up or give in. You know, to my own little voice in my head telling me
Right.
it's over, it's over, like it's done. So I just kept trying and trying, and thankfully it worked. Thank God it worked, and well, yeah, that's how it happened.
It's very exciting for you. So that's awesome that you've been able to accomplish what you have and be able to go after your goals and dreams that you set for yourself, and you're accomplishing them with your perseverance. Do you have any advice for goalkeepers specifically? Any advice that you might have? I know that sometimes it feels like a tough, isolating position being the goalkeeper on a team. I mean, I'm a mom of a goalie, so I know how that is. So, what advice would you give young players who might be in your position?
Ooh, there's a lot, but the one that helped me the most was a player, a forward. If he's not good of a forward, he can be a defender. He can be a center back. He can be a wing. He can be anything else. But a goalkeeper has the responsibility of the entire team. They get the responsibility. They're basically the captain. Some teams are captains. Their captains are goalkeepers, but sometimes they're not. And when they're not, they're still a
Mm-hmm.
captain. So my advice to them is that be your own captain on the field and off the field. Be your own captain. Because if you get that mindset of, okay, I can do this, I got this, I'm the only one on the pitch, I'm the only, like you said, it's the isolation of a position. Like it's a lonely position. You're the last man standing, as you could say.
Mm-hmm.
You're like the last man standing. What you gotta keep in mind is that it's you and only you.
Last line of
Yeah,
defense.
last line of defense. So what you got to keep in mind is that you're your own hero, basically. You know, since you're the last man, not just in the field, but even in life too. Like you're your own enemy. You're your own hero. You know, so always like keep pushing yourself. Don't let.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can have your parents like help you, support you, but they're not gonna do the job for you. You know, you have to do the job for yourself. That's the biggest that I can take out of that.
As far as training while you learned the goalkeeper position and as you took more responsibility in becoming a dedicated goalkeeper, what types of trainings and exercises did you do? Because I know that there are some coaches who do separate their goalkeepers from their field players for youth players, but there are some coaches who have their goalkeepers do trainings just like the rest of the team, and then maybe at some point they'll separate them, when you're doing like shots or shooting or different tactical things, corners and stuff like that. So was there anything specific that you did that you liked that you wish you would have been able to do as a youth player getting to where you are now?
As a youth player, I wish I was able to do more gym workouts because as I get older, it kind of like gets, not tougher, not tougher, but well, I guess yeah, tougher. I'm trying to get like in the gym, try not to get too much muscle in, not no, not as too little, But as I was younger, as a young, if I could tell
Mm-hmm.
myself in the past, I should do more gym because as a goalkeeper, if you see goalkeepers now, they're either tall or really like firm.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, getting into the gym like really helps a goalkeeper out a lot. And doing plyometrics, like plyometrics helps goalkeepers a lot with ability, stability, agility, speed, eye coordination too. Like it helps a lot with their reactions, reflexes. I think that's what helped me the most, plyometrics. But I wish I would have done more gym workouts.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to add to this?
Well, I hope other goalkeepers like can hear my story about like oh that's always like or not just goalkeepers but players in general. They can hear my story and be like, oh, there's teams that are gonna be there, but right at the end it doesn't happen because a lot of not friends of mine, a lot of friends of mine, they just think it's oh, I'm gonna go to that team and they're gonna be like, oh yeah, we want you, we sign you, that's it. No, like it's a process, like soccer and not just soccer, like any sport, football, baseball, basketball, anything. It's a process. It's a journey. You have to enjoy the journey to get to the goal. So you gotta enjoy
Mm-hmm.
the failures to become a success. Learn from your mistakes, learn from other people's
Right.
mistakes so it doesn't happen to you and things like that. So a lot of people, a lot of kids, they
Mm-hmm.
see all these youngsters, all these young players, oh, they're already getting signed, and they're getting they're getting hesitant, stressed out, like, oh my gosh, why am I not there? I'm gonna go try with this team. I'm gonna try with that. I mean, yeah, but then after one rejection, they get down on themselves, and you're like, you know what? I'm not gonna do this no more. But they gotta keep in mind it's a process. It's a really, really long process, but at the end of the day, it's worth it. It's a really worth it process.
Okay. That's great advice. So that's really all that I have. So thank you so much for coming on with me today. I'm sorry there was, you know, difficulties, but I'm glad that we were able to do this and be able to hear your story. It's definitely a good one. A lot of this I did not know. So that's awesome
Yeah,
that you've been able to do all of this. And I love that you're willing to share it.
yeah, yeah. Of course, it was an honor being here. It was an honor being here. I really like this.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for your time, JC. And we'll be hearing from you soon. And good luck in your season when it starts.
Of course, of course. All right, thank you, Katie. Thank you so much.
I hope you guys enjoyed that interview with JC. JC, thank you again for coming on. I do apologize again for some of the technical difficulties that we had and some of the sound quality. JC had some roommates that were coming in and out during parts of the interview, so I do apologize for that as well. But I was really glad that I was able to interview him and spend some time talking to him and learning about his story because I only knew bits and pieces. So the fact that there were so many highs and lows going on with his story and how he persevered through all of it, and he's still living it and chasing after his dreams. That's awesome. So I am super excited to see what happens with him, and I have linked his Instagram page in the show notes. So if you want to follow him and his journey, you can see where he's at with his playing down in Mexico, and we wish you all the best of luck, JC. If anybody is interested in being interviewed for the podcast, please reach out to me on my Instagram page, or you can email me at kickitwithkatiepod@gmail.com, or like I said, you can follow me on Instagram and reach out there. But thank you guys so much for the reviews that I've already received. Please keep reviewing and rating the show, subscribing and sharing, because it's starting to take off, and I'm really excited about where this is going. But if you have any questions for any of our future guests, please make sure to shoot me an email, or you can ask me on Instagram. But I am always looking for more questions that you guys have, because you guys are the players that are going through it right now, and I want them to answer whatever questions you might have at your point in your journey, and see if they have an answer as to how they dealt with a situation maybe you're in, or something like that. So please shoot me your questions so that I can get the answers for you, hopefully. Thank you guys so much for listening today, and thank you for kicking it with me. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at kickitwithkatiepodcast _between all the words. You can reach out to me with questions at kickitwithkatiepod@gmail.com. I also have a feature with SpeakPipe where you can leave me your own voicemail message if you want to be featured on the podcast. Rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.